What's up, everyone? Welcome to Branding Beyond Business, and I am your host, John Mediana, and I got an exciting interview today. It is with my buddy, Nick Grayson, and we talked about marketing funnels.
I think a lot of people don't really take a step back before jumping in, right? Really laying down a plan and saying, okay, who are we going after and how are we going to go after them?
Yeah. We talked about platforms to grow and scale your business.
If we could create an audience by posting content every day, but also posting the stories, then we can build an audience through the interest in the content, and then retarget them with
Yes. And we talked about automating the process so that you can grow your brand.
I like Notion because I'm a very simple guy. Like, I don't need all like these like flashy bells and whistles. Like, I want to be able to structure it how I structure it, keep it super simple, and basically just be able to organize everything very simply.
Before we get into this episode, I'm super pumped to also be in our studio here at Executive Brand Growth. So if you're looking to record your new podcast or even come in here turnkey, not even worried about cameras, lighting, all that stuff, you can use our gear, record your podcast here in Gallatin, Tennessee. So if you want more information about that, go to executivebrandgrowth.com/studio and you can check it out, connect with us, and get your podcast started. So let's dive into this brand new episode. Let's go. Welcome to Branding Beyond Business. I'm your host, John Mediana. Let's get it. What's up, and welcome to a brand new episode of Branding Beyond Business. And I'm your host, John Mediana, and I have an exciting guest with me today, Mr. Nick Grayson. What's up? How's it going, brother?
John? Good to see you, man.
Man, it's so great to have you today. And I know we first met at our friends EC at the Entrepreneur Center.
Yes, sir.
And we're talking about personal branding there. And he has a great Jim Morris is the guy that we're talking about. He is the man. He has an event coming up, impacteffect23.com. Go check it out. But we connected there, and I think it was just sparks flying in the very beginning because, you know, from one marketer to another marketer, you know, we share a lot of war stories and stuff like that. And like, we just have like a special soft place in our heart for, you know, people that are in our industry and stuff, and being able to be in the same kind of circles and have the same kind of stories.
100%. No, I saw you from across the room, and I went up to you and I was like, Jonathan, like, we met, and it was like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And we didn't get a chance to really talk to each other. I just want to come up and say hi, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, we did meet. What was that event that we were at? Was it another Jim Morris thing?
Yeah, it was a Jim Morris or an impact event. Jim threw it. Over in Hillsborough.
That Craig Siegel was
Craig
speaking.
Siegel or Brandon T. Adams.
Brandon T. Adams. Yeah, that was a really fun.
That was an awesome one. That was
Jim,
a good one.
you know, and I didn't mean to talk so much about Jim, but he does put on some pretty
the guy knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. He brings so much value, even curating the people that are coming and speaking to the audience and knowing where the audience is at. Like, he does a really good job in doing that.
Well, he's been doing it for a while now, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it keeps getting better and better. Yeah. All leading up to this conference, which is just going to be absolutely insane.
It's going to be crazy, man.
Like, I don't even know how we got all these speakers in the same room.
It kind of blows my mind, you know, like you have to be just such a go-getter and such a real human being to get the lineup that he's got, because I know these people, you know, like, and they don't just stop and do, you know, events for anybody. They don't mess around. They're big time. I mean, Tim Story, he did some stuff with Oprah Winfrey, and, you know, he's worked with a lot of celebrities. He's worked with, you know, Kanye. I don't know if you like Kanye or not, but he worked with Kanye. He does a lot of stuff. Dude, this guy's a celebrity life coach.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I have lots of stories about Tim's story, but
we're in for a treat then, huh?
We are in for a treat. But today on this episode, we got my man Nick Grayson, and we're talking about marketing. We're talking about automation, and we're talking about, you know, funnels, and kind of like introducing a little bit about your journey and your expertise and what you've learned being just behind the business side, you know. And it's not just when I say marketing, a lot of audiences are like, like buzzword salad, man. Yeah, I use Canva. That's marketing, right?
Gotta love Canva.
Gotta love Canva.
Respect Canva.
Hey, respect Canva users. But at the same time, it's like I want to identify marketing. So what vehicle are we talking about here in marketing? Can you kind of like open that up and what your view of marketing is and what you learned over the past year? And almost, you know, kind of catch us up in what you've done and how you kind of transitioned through the industry.
Yeah, so I think it all started when I first started my first business back when I was a junior in college, right? So it all started March of 2020, which was a great time for all of us. I don't know what you were doing in March of 2020.
I was having my first kid.
You were having your first kid in March of 2020. I was not doing that. I was doing something quite the opposite. I was a junior in college. I was still in Lexington, Kentucky at the University of Kentucky. And I had a good friend that came up to me. And he said, Nick, I have this great idea for a business. And I was like, a business? Like, what are you talking about? Like, we're a junior. Like, COVID just hit. Like, everything's closed. Like, nothing's happening. Like, okay. So
not a good time.
Not a good time. But the thing is, I was really bored, right?
Yeah.
Super bored.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want you to start this business with me. I want to do marketing for bars and restaurants around here. Like, not if I'm doing any marketing. I was like, I guess you're right. Like, I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we met like the next week, had like a really like official meeting in his room, and started talking about, okay, how are we going to provide marketing for these bars and restaurants? So what better way to provide marketing for these bars and restaurants than to make a Instagram account and post all the drink and food specials every single day on that platform. So we did that and did it for like a year. Obviously, we made partnerships with all of the bars and restaurants. We eventually got a mobile app developed. We posted this stuff every day. Then we onboarded users for $5 a month to be able to access all of the exclusive specials that the bars and restaurants gave us, right?
Genius.
So that's how I got started. I learned how to, obviously build an app, how to grow an app, how to make business partnerships, relationships, and just grow from there. So from a marketing standpoint, it all starts with putting something out there that people want, right? And number one, if people don't want it, then it's not going to matter.
Right.
It's not going to matter. So like, have you ever made something that you kind of look back and say, do people actually want this?
Oh yeah. I mean, from a creative standpoint,
right.
even engineers fall for this all the time.
Right.
Like they fall in love with the product process, like the product development. They're like, oh man, I want to create this, and they go all in and fell like heavily involved in it, almost to just to default, to their own fault of like, all right, well, who's going to use it? And it's like, well, I didn't think about that.
Right.
I've been too busy thinking about the process of making the thing.
Yeah, you tend to overthink it.
And then you're like, wait, like who is the user?
Right.
Right.
So it all starts with who your target market
That's
is,
it.
right? And so when we were doing it, it was going to be young adults, above the age of 21, of course, in the Lexington area. And our biggest thing was like, do people want this? Yes, they do. They really do want it. But what time do they want it? Because there were certain slots where we had these, food specials and drink specials available. So if you wanted a $2 taco and a $2.50 margarita at Cinco de Mayo on a Tuesday afternoon, people might be at work, people might be, in class still, and people, aren't always going to be able to make it. So that was a flaw, right? And so that's been able to, be applied to a lot of the other projects I've worked on. When I think about it from a marketing standpoint and where we're going to put it, what's the avenue, but most importantly, what is the product and how is it applying to a certain target market?
So we have a saying here. It's called TLA all day. That means test, learn, and adapt all day. When you're going through that process of like, oh, this is not working, like what was your process internally to test it, learn, adapt, optimize, like, and move on? Because a lot of people will be like, it's not working, like I don't know what else to do, and then just like quit.
We have to pivot, right?
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. It's like a good friend of mine, Craig Siegel, who spoke at the event. What he preaches is messy action, right? Take messy action. And so that's basically what we did, and we had to learn along the way. And so being able to be quick on your feet and not just say, hey, we failed, like, what are we going to do now? But really just think, seeing it as a stepping stone, right? And that's how I've seen everything that I've done, every project I work on, because I can take, even if the industry is entirely different, like the hospitality industry, bars and restaurants, how can I apply that to real estate or other mobile apps in other industries, or all these other things? So you just have to see it as a stepping stone, not get caught up in it, and
I want to rewind a bit. You had said that you're gonna do marketing on Instagram and you're showcasing drinks and all this stuff. I want to kind of open the hood a little bit of that, because like I think a lot of people would miss that piece of like, wait a minute, and then you did this, and then you moved to the next step, and you built an app. Right. But let's rewind a little bit. So you and your partner started posting on Instagram, like just drinks and
the specials, the daily specials,
specials of just local. Like, was it very centric to like
Lexington,
Nashville?
Kentucky?
Kentucky.
Lexington, Kentucky. Yep.
Okay.
So it was all about it was mostly drink specials, so like the daily happy hour specials, for example, or even the food specials if they had a discounted, beer and burger or tacos or a quesadilla at Tin Roof on a Friday, right? So it was very random.
Very random.
Right. Specific. But no one knew what those things were, and we saw that. And especially my partner Selden, he saw this and he was like, how can we get this out into the general public and make sure people are aware?
Right.
And we saw that everyone was on Instagram every day, checking the stories, clicking through.
Interesting.
And if we could create an audience by posting content every day, but also posting the stories of the specials, then we can build an audience through the interest in the content,
right,
and then retarget them with the product.
Yes. So you become more of a promo platform,
basically,
and then
promotions.
Promotions. So that was a space. So when you, and I know as if everyone that has started their Instagram, you know how hard it is to build that traction,
right,
and that audience. You know, you go from 0 to X amount. Like, can you kind of walk us through really quickly, because we got a lot of questions to get through, but like when you first started, what was like the plan, like the volume? Were you doing it every day?
Oh yeah.
Were you tagging? Were you doing outreach and inbound? Like, what was the process there of the strategy of growing that Instagram?
So our outreach was going around to all the restaurants and bars and saying, hey, we have this audience and we're building this audience and it keeps growing. Look at the numbers, like it's continuously to grow.
Interesting.
And they were also seeing that we were posting their specials for them every single day. You know, like out of the kindness of our hearts, right? We were posting all the specials. It would
be dumb for them not to partner with you because you're already doing it and you're promoting them.
Yes, but you can't just, you have to build a brand around it, right?
Yeah.
And what do people want to see? People want to see stuff about the athletics, about, you know, what's going on campus around the city.
Yeah.
You know, what are the things that's going to make people laugh, make people interested, and really just capture attention.
Interesting.
And the specials would.
Yeah.
Definitely, but not alone.
Yeah.
They needed a brand around them. And so that's where I came into play, started creating content, and really enjoyed it. I mean, it was a lot of funny stuff, a lot of sports around UK athletics. Obviously, we had a decent basketball team. Football team was getting better.
Yeah.
So we had a blast doing it, made a lot of great relationships in the process, and people we still keep in touch with. So.
Dude, that's awesome. And that's a little nugget, you know, to share with the audience, because sometimes they just see the trophies or the end of the story. They don't actually see the beginning and like kind of like what the tactical part that you have to do. You know, you went door to door and you were saying this is how I did it. So that's really interesting. Now you had talked about how you took everything as stepping stones and like lessons and stuff. So that wasn't like the last business that you had. So can you tell us about the journey of the transitioning? Because I know there's a lot of people even listening right now that might be transitioning into their next stepping stone.
Right.
All right. So yeah, explain that.
I'll dive into that. So I would say the one thing that everyone thinks that they have to have right away is clarity. And that you have everything figured out, right? I'm assuming you didn't have everything figured out. It sounds like you've done a lot of stuff in your career, right?
You're still lived many lives.
Exactly. And so after we did that, I ended up going into the corporate role for a little bit, working for PepsiCo, Frito-Lay, after graduation. So I did that for around 8 months before I really had just a mindset shift. I was like, I learned how to do all these things that I enjoyed. How can I take those skills I've learned from, you know, growing a business, growing relationships, social media, all of that, and turn it into something that will, you know, be a career for me. So I decided to, you know, move on from PepsiCo, Frito-Lay. Nothing against them. I had a great experience, met a lot of great people.
Just your time was up.
Yeah, time was up. It was time to, you know, jump. What's the worst that could happen is what I was telling myself. Like, what's the absolute worst that's going to happen here? So long story short, I started NG Media, just my little marketing agency. It was basically just a freelancer at the time, and started getting to a lot of different projects. I eventually had some really good results for a commercial realtor, identifying off-market properties for him and investors for those properties. And I actually created an email marketing funnel that actually started from Facebook advertising into an email marketing campaign that brought appointments to his calendar, right?
Yeah, which we're going to break down.
We will break down. Yeah, absolutely.
Continue, yes.
And so after that, I obviously decided that I needed to lean into the real estate realm, and that's what I did. So I started actually shifting over into residential, started onboarding residential real estate agents, started Realty Records Media, which was basically just a name change from what I was doing before. Built a team around that, brought on my partner, Patrick, who has been an awesome asset to me and my team, and we ended up growing the company all throughout last year.
Wow.
And has brought me to today, where I'm now taking on a lot of other projects along with real estate, and also moving back into app marketing and app growth. So full circle, right?
What a crazy full circle. But it seems like you know, I always believe, you know, in seasons in life. You know, you're in a certain season where you're learning. You're in a certain season when you're building. There's just so many different seasons that you're just taking and kind of piecing these puzzles together, you know. And what I love about the industry that we're in, which is marketing, and the thing that we're talking about, it's like that's transferable puzzle pieces.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like when it comes to email marketing, like you said, or advertising, or this and that, or even on the ground, outbound, you know, like it's a physical type of approach to it.
A lot of ways to do it, isn't there? Especially today with this AI stuff, man.
Man, it is crazy.
It's getting it's kind of scary. I don't know.
My question for you is what is, again, going back, because you answered this earlier about what is marketing to you, but what's like a marketing strategy? Because a lot of people hear the buzzword marketing, but they never tie strategy to it. So can you break down like what adding a strategy to marketing, or what is that to you? Because you also mentioned something called a funnel. So I want to dive into that as my next question after that. So some people are like, they hear marketing and they need to do marketing in their business, but maybe they never put those two words together, marketing and a strategy.
Right.
So what is that for you?
Well, I think a lot of people don't really take a step back before jumping in, right? Really laying down a plan and saying, okay, who are we going after and how are we going to go after them?
Yeah.
And then how are we going to build that relationship with them? Because there's a volume game and then there's the personalized game, right? If you're sending a cold email to someone, you can either personalize it and say, hey, I saw that you were at the Reds game the other day, and you know, so-and-so, like. And then there's the volume play where it's sending out the same generic message to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Same thing goes with advertising, right? If you're a real estate agent and you're putting out a listing, you're going to get a ton of leads. A lot of people are looking for houses.
Right.
If you're putting out a video talking about that listing, you might just get a few, but they might be higher quality.
Right.
So there's a couple different ways you could go about it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to that kind of strategy, it's going to depend on your industry, and it's going to depend on your type of clientele. Is it a low ticket service? Is it a high ticket service? Is it a product?
Right.
So I would say there's a couple different ways you can go about it, but it's going to start with really mapping out that plan and then jumping right in.
Yeah, no, that's so true. Yeah. So I would correlate strategy for plan.
Yeah.
Right. Like, yes, we all know marketing is important. We all need marketing. In fact, there's a quote that says, if your business is the vehicle, marketing is the gas.
Right.
You can't go nowhere if you ain't got no gas in your vehicle. Right.
No, you
so
can't.
It is true. You need marketing, but the idea is, what's the plan behind marketing? And a lot of times people spray and pray is what we say, you know, like, so spray and pray. They're like, I'm trying to do every type of marketing. I don't care. I'll pay ads.
Yeah.
I'll go door to door. We call that guerrilla marketing.
Right.
Right. And a lot of people adopt that and they see little to no results, or sometimes something works and they just need to explore it a little bit more. Maybe one lane's working than the other.
Right.
And then they're just like, well, that's my plan is do it all. Right. So one of the vehicles for developing a plan is something that we call funnel building. Right. So I would love for you to kind of paint a picture of what a typical funnel looks, or like really give us a description of what a funnel is, and then share with us your experience of successful funnels that you've built in the past, or even currently right now for clients.
I would say a funnel is essentially getting someone from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Right. So where are they now? Are they aware of your product? Do they know what it is? Do they know what it does? Do they know how it can benefit them? So I would say it's going to start off with developing a plan to get them into the funnel.
Yeah.
Right. And that's going to be your advertisements, your emails. So it's either going to be inbound or outbound.
Yeah.
And that's going to depend on the industry. You can even do both. So if someone comes in and you put out an advertisement, and let's say it's a video advertisement of them promoting, let's say your service, and you're a marketing agency and you provide social media management, right? Yep. And you provide that for real estate agents. Perfect. Okay, so now we know that real estate agents are out there. Do they need social media? Yes. A lot of them need a lot of help, right?
They need the most
Just a little
help.
bit. Right. They're great at selling houses, but you know, there's a lot of them that are really skilled in marketing, but some of them need some help. And so putting that out there, making it known who you are, what you do, and how your service can benefit them, right? And then also what your offer is. Yeah. So a lot of people are going to be very hesitant if they aren't aware of who you are and you don't have the credibility to be able to back it up.
Right.
And so having some kind of guarantee or offer in place always tends to help if you don't have all the credibility in the world yet, or you're not big about making content, right? Yeah. So I make a little bit of content here and there, but it's not been something that I tend to do in my free time, right?
Right.
So from that perspective, once you bring them into your funnel, I always recommend having a VSL, which are you familiar with the video sales letter? Of course you are. You're a video guy. We're here in a podcast room. Of course he knows what a video sales letter is. So you always want to have that on a landing page. So a landing page, basically a website. A lot of people get that confused with a funnel. The funnel is the entirety of it, starting from the advertisement to the very end.
Beginning and end process.
To the meeting.
Yes.
You want the goal of a funnel is to book an appointment, right?
Yes.
So once you get them onto the landing page, they watch that video sales letter. They start scrolling down. They see all the key features and benefits of what the service is that you're providing. Yeah. And then what's going to convert them, right? Yes. Maybe testimonials. Maybe they can resonate and you peak or you set off an emotional spark with them. Yeah. Right? They really feel that.
The trust
they can relate.
Part,
right.
The social proof of like, I believe now they have transferred trust for me to continue to make this sale because I noticed that they could solve my problem. Right, so it's simple. Yes, people want to talk to people. Yes, right. Yeah. People like brands. If you have a really reputable brand, but at the end of the day, people want to work with people. That's true. So the only way to do that is video content. Video content. So that's why when I first started the real estate thing, we weren't doing much video content, and we were getting a ton of leads, and appointments for our agents. Yeah. But these people didn't owe these people anything. Yeah. They didn't owe them a single thing, and they thought that they could just schedule these meetings with the agents and not show up. Imagine if you're getting a referral, right? Imagine if it was a referral and you had someone random coming in here to do this podcast, and they just didn't show up. Jeez, yeah.
That doesn't happen with referrals usually. Usually those people are going to be your go-to people that are going to be trustworthy, know who you are, right, and show up to your meetings and be a long-term client that refers more business to you, right?
Absolutely.
So when you're making your landing page, making your videos, you want to make sure that you're providing who you are and putting that out there for those people to see.
Yeah, I heard a quote, and I forget who said it, but man, when you're making video, they get to know, like, and trust you even before you make the sale. Oh, yeah. The sale's already done because they've seen you multiple times. They see what you're about. They know who you are. They see how you talk and how you speak, and they could tell even with body language if you're authentic or not, or if you're selling me something or you're not. And they already made the decision before they even book a time on your calendar. Mm-hmm. Is that true? Do you see that in your industry?
100%. I mean, there's a lot of industries that I'm working in right now, and I think it's going to depend on that. Some people already know what they need, right? Yeah. For example, if you need like a plumber, obviously plumbers aren't making video content, but a lot of them are running ads these days, especially in the like the trades and that type of.
Do you think it would work for plumbers, like the everyday handyman?
Honestly, it would probably make you stand out decent big because no one's really.
Well, I mean, that's one thing that I think, and why I always lean onto video more, because video is actually helping people stand out from the market and stand out from the noise. And it's even good if you're like, well, John, like I'm in an industry and no one uses video. I'm like, what a great opportunity for you to be the only one in the market doing more video. Wouldn't that make you stand out more?
Oh, 100%. I was talking to a potential client the other day, and they were talking about, we want to be on social media and we want to be making video, but like we looked at our competitors and none of them are doing it. So we think we'll keep doing what we're doing. And I was like, well, you could definitely do that, but maybe there's a reason for that. And maybe there's a reason that you should do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Make you stand out just a little bit. Yeah. So that's another way of looking at it.
I don't think it's rocket science, but I think like there is a risk involved with people, because it's like we obviously know video, especially organic video that like lives online forever. And it's designed to find more clientele and more customers for you when people search how to do this,
What's the word? Evergreen?
Yeah. Evergreen content. Yeah. Right. And I think the fear thing, like for businesses, is at risk of like, well, no one's doing it in the industry. What are they going to think of me? And it's like, okay, can we get past that? Because you need more clients. Right. You need to build more trust. Mm-hmm. You're not getting more clients because people aren't trusting you enough.
100%.
Right? They read the reviews, and that's great. Yeah. And you could still make sales that way, right? You don't need video, but video definitely does help. I read an article Adobe made where 85% of mobile users are using video.
Oh, 100%.
They're tuning in video. Yep. I mean, social media, the thing that we have now is video based. I follow a lot of people because it's like their own TV show, like online. I'm always looking at my friends' stories. I'm just like, what's on the Nick show today? You know what I mean? Like, what's he doing today? Like yesterday we were filming on a yacht, and everyone's tuning in. They're like, dude, it's like I'm living vicariously through your life because it's like watching a TV show.
That's everything. That's not even just video. That's just posting.
That's right.
It's insane. Like this, I'm trying to think of what I have on my story right now. I believe. Yeah, so this morning I found out that there was someone impersonating my Instagram account. Have you been seeing that happen? Like it's been happening to everyone here lately. Yeah. It's insane. It's a war zone out here.
It is crazy. My friend Michael Stelzner has had his Instagram account almost every month now. It seems like someone's impersonating him. And because he runs social media marketing world in San Diego.
Yeah.
And so like he's always on Facebook. Someone's posting me again. Like, be aware of this.
This is not me. Yeah.
They're asking you for your crypto wallet.
Exactly. Like, no, my dad texted me this morning and says, "Yeah, Nick, your great aunt just got a message from you asking about crypto. Like, wasn't you, was it?" I was like, "No." And there was another one them asking.
It's a great compliment, though.
Exactly. An old buddy saying, "Hey, Grant, how are you doing?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone who knows me knows that I wouldn't that's not how I would slide into the DM.
No, man.
Be way cooler.
Yeah.
Right?
I had one time, this happened recently with my sales team, is that someone was messaging them impersonating me, and they're like, "Hey, I need you to go to the store for me and buy this card and send it, and be like, hey," and they're impersonating me. So like my team would text me and be like, "Hey, did you just send this?" And I was like, "No,
it wasn't me.
It wasn't me. How do they know that?" Dude, I don't like. Someone's like literally impersonating because they know they work for me.
Right.
So they're talking to them as if I'm their boss, and telling them to go to the store, get this gift card. It's right away. I'm in a meeting right now. He showed me the screenshot. I'm in a meeting right now. Can you do this quick thing for me right away? And right away he was just like sniffing it out. He's like, "John would never talk to me like this."
Why do people do that? What is the?
I always thought
goal?
Dude, I always thought okay, these hackers and people that are scam artists. I'm like, if they just took their energy and built a business, they would succeed instead of trying to scam people.
It's not hard to start a business.
It's not. I was watching this is off topic, but I was watching Key and Peele. You know Key and Peele?
Oh, I know Key and Peele.
Okay, so I was watching an IG reel, and they were doing bank robber stuff, right? So they were bank robbers, and the dude, Keegan-Michael Key goes to Peele, and he goes like, "All right, so here's the thing, all right, let's apply to this bank,
of course,
right? And then what we'll do we'll go in there." And then we'll go from 9 to 5 every day and make friends, make alliances, right? And we'll do this for years, and they won't even know it. And Jordan Peele's like, all right, what's the catch? He's like, guess, how do we get the money out? He's like, guess, this is the beauty of it. Every 2 weeks, they wire it to our bank account. And in a few years, 30 years, we'll leave.
Like nothing happened. I saw it the other day. Of course, I've seen it. They're the best.
My gosh.
They're the best. It's absolutely incredible.
But it's funny to me, these guys that scam, because they go in there and they try to, do this. I'm just like, you could have put that energy into building something, remarkable.
Yep.
Reputable.
I was listening to Hormozy, your boy, yesterday. And he was talking, I forget who he was talking to, but it was basically about how easy it is to start a business these days. He's like, number 1, start an LLC.
Yeah.
Via an online provider. Number 2, go to the bank and say, "Here's my LLC. Give me a bank account." Step 3, reach out to people and sell them a product that they want. Number 4, fulfill on those services. And number 5 was like, take money again, repeat, and so that's all they got to do.
That was such a good impression of him, by the way.
I can never impression that guy. No,
but it's so true. And I was just talking to somebody. I was like, what, today, we have something called YouTube and Google.
It's insane.
Or it's like anything that you want to start. If you want to start something, if you want to do something, if you want to lose weight fast,
right?
You could Google it, you could YouTube it, and you get the answers right there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, come on, people. It's just A plus B equals this.
Did you go to college?
I went to film school. It was art school, so it doesn't really count.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, it does.
It does. The discipline.
You're learning something.
I was learning something, yes.
For your career.
Yeah, but well, what class do you sit there and be like, all right, we're gonna paint today? And
what kind of painting?
It was, I don't know, acrylic.
Nice.
Acrylic painting,
That's nice.
But also learn okay, we're gonna edit film today. We're gonna learn this today.
I wish I would have learned that.
Yeah,
I kind of just taught myself editing videos for social media.
I felt like YouTube University. YouTube University plus especially if you're super passionate about something, you're gonna make the investment to learn anywhere. Mm-hmm. You'll get hands on anywhere.
Right.
I went to art school, yes, but I also started working in the industry and working my way up in the industry, from a PA to okay, I'm gonna do this.
Hands
now.
on, you just gotta jump right
hands
into
on, because that's a part of the learning process. And even when you're talking about your businesses and growing, you got hands on solving problems, and once you solve those problems, you're like, oh, I'm gonna use that to go build this now, and the next one, and the next one.
Insane.
I feel like
stepping stones.
I feel like school's kind of like a scam nowadays.
That's a good point. I mean, I've never thought it was, because I had so many lessons that I've learned from, not necessarily the marketing
and the
management class I took
to,
but the people I met, the relationships I made, and the things I got involved in. A lot of people just go and do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
You can't just go and do the bare minimum. You got to get involved. Go meet people, go out, do things and people sometimes do it wrong. But I think the experience aspect of it is something that, even though I have student loans, I do have to pay off.
Yes.
It's well worth it, in my opinion.
I think definitely what I did learn from school and going to school is networking. I think what a great place where I was able to go on to my colleagues' sets when they're doing projects. I'm on their projects, right? And next thing you know, they're like making commercials for entertainment, and they're like, well, guess who's coming along and doing that? Yeah, your boy. You know what I mean? So like having these opportunities of proximity with people that are like-minded, going the same direction and wanting to do something big, like it's just cool to be in proximity with those people, because you never know what's going to pop off and what's going to happen. I broke into the industry in that sense, and then started directing my own shows and like commercials and music videos, and then eventually working with Capitol Records, directing artist music videos and working with a lot of these things in LA. And it all came from networking and just being in proximity to other creatives and them opening doors for you.
Isn't it crazy how like one thing just leads to another?
Yeah, it's crazy. And like it is like once you start, I think the hardest thing is to start.
Right.
Because you don't know where to go. You overthink it. You're just like, well, what if I make the wrong step? What if I take the wrong step forward? And it's kind of hard to do that if you're just starting. You just go into it.
Well, you got to learn what you don't want to do.
Yes.
The only way to figure out what you don't want to do is to do that thing. Right?
Yes, absolutely. So we're talking about funnels and marketing and all this stuff. And you also tapped on like tools that we have to like AI and all that stuff too.
Oh yeah.
And like, which is really incredible. But you had a long history of working in funnels, and not just funnels but platforms and programs and stuff. So like, we all know there's like ClickFunnels out there, there's Kajabi, there's all kinds of these resources, a lot of things. And sometimes it could be a money suck. Right. So I want to pick your brain about a platform that you are enjoying right now. Like that's been really easy for you. And so give me your top platforms that you use and what you use in your daily
oh my gosh,
life.
Not sponsored, but like let's go with it's probably Go High Level would be the ones I use the most right now.
Okay.
You're familiar with High Level, right?
Yeah, of course. Break that down for people that don't know what that is. This is probably the first time they're hearing about Go High Level.
So it's essentially an all-in-one CRM platform. So for example, before I brought on High Level, I was using ClickFunnels, I was using MailChimp, I was using Zapier, which I still use, and several other tools to be able to manage my agency clients. I eventually found Go High Level and how I could use it not just to manage my own business, but to manage the businesses of my clients and allow them to be able to be hooked up to the ad campaigns, the email campaigns, and essentially just alleviate some of the stress that happens in every marketing client's life.
So it's all in one platform, all connected. You could send emails, text messages. Oh yeah. You could build even courses. You could build websites on it. You could replace your Calendly.
Everything.
You could and everything's interconnected, so you could track every link, every person, and it also does what's called pipeline management too, right?
Right.
So
that's one of my favorites because like I use High Level, don't get me wrong, but I still have like sticky notes everywhere because I'm writing things down. But like I always make sure, even if I do write things down, I always put it into Go High Level. Yeah. So I have like the opportunities tab, right? And I always structure it from like cold lead to warm lead to appointment book to pending to client won, client lost, whatever it is. And then that, as you move it around, can trigger different email sequences that, if you move it from pending to client one, you can have it automatically send them the contract, the invoice, and the SOPs to be able to get them onboarded. So it's just like saves you. But people don't realize that like some people just want to do it manually. Which is fine, but you don't realize how much time like that takes out of your day.
You can't scale with that.
No. Depending on how many clients you're working with, but starting out, I wouldn't recommend automating right from the start. I think you should be focused on structuring out your SOPs, figuring out what your service is. You have way more things to worry about than automating your business. But when it is time to scale, that's when you want to.
That's when you can start stacking. 100%. So you would start with number one. You would start with your standard operating procedures, but also just using it as a advanced CRM. Right. 100%. Emails. you know,
keep
names.
them all in one place. Yeah.
Keep them all in one place.
Right.
You don't need nothing else to keep yourself organized. You could send things, but you do have like these supplemental programs that you were talking about.
Notion. I use Notion a lot.
Okay, so
Notion's awesome.
talk about Notion a little bit.
So I like Notion because it's allowed me to keep everything very organized and simply. So I like Asana, I like Trello, I like all these other, you know, those are project management software, so a little bit different than High Level. And I like Notion because I'm a very simple guy. Like I don't need all like these like flashy bells and whistles. Like I want to be able to structure it how I structure it, keep it super simple, and basically just be able to organize everything very simply. I use the word simply like 8 times right there because that's what it is. I think they call it your second brain. Because you can just jot everything down in a very organized manner.
And the way they lay it out too, if you haven't used Notion, go check it out. I'll put a link in the description. And Go High Level too. I'll put a link there too. Everything that Nick talks about, we'll just put some reference links down below, and also where we could find you and stuff too. But those are really great tools and assets, and a lot of people just don't know that it's available for them because they're just like, well, I just use Google Doc. Or Google Sheet.
Nothing wrong with Google Drive. I use it for a lot of things still.
Same here.
But, you know, it's good to have everything in one place.
Yeah. So one last question I got for you is, you know, we have a lot of people that are listening that are creative entrepreneurs. Maybe they're about to start their agency. Maybe they're trying to figure it out. Maybe they're solopreneurs trying to move themselves up. What is one quick strategy that they could implement today that's going to help them grow or help them in an actually healthy growth trajectory, you know, when it comes to marketing and finding leads and closing deals?
Are you talking about people that already know what industry they're going to be in?
Yeah. So maybe they don't. Maybe they're like trying to figure out the industry because like, you know, as a creative, you're like, oh, I want to do wedding photography because you can make so much money. No, I want to do products. Now I want to do this. I want to do I want to work with athletes. I want to work with artists, especially in Nashville. I want to work with musicians. And then they quickly find out they're like, I don't want to work with musicians. I want to work with, you know, real estate people like yourself, right?
Absolutely.
So number one, I think, is how do they find the niche? Number two, how do they start closing more deals?
100%. So I love that question because I have been there. Yes. Obviously, I'm like right in the middle of it right now. So when it comes to picking, you know, what you want to do, everyone tends to overthink it and not really think about the things they like doing, the things they've done in the past and where they want to go. And so I caught myself like even just scrolling through my camera roll, looking at my, you know, things I enjoy doing, people I enjoy being around, right? Yeah. And that has been something that I think about a lot and where I got started, right, with the mobile apps and doing that kind of thing. Yeah. And when you're someone that's in that position, you tend to not have much clarity about it. The people that do, that's where you really need to focus on the service you're providing before you start. Right. You know, going out and reaching out to 1,000 people. Yeah. That's what I would say. Some people say the opposite, just like reach out and like sell them on something before you actually have the service to sell them, which you can, depending on what it is. If it's simple like Facebook ads or social media management, maybe you can just figure it out. I would recommend having an actual plan before you jump right into it. Strategy, just a little bit. It doesn't have to be like the perfect thing because you will adjust as you go and figure out how to actually fulfill on those services in a successful manner, right? Yeah. Like you will mess up. Yes. And I'm sure you messed up.
Yes,
I messed up. Absolutely.
Fail often and always.
Yes. Yeah. You fall forward, right?
Yes.
100%. Yes. So I would say definitely figuring out what the service is, and then number one, having a good list. And if you don't have money to buy a list, then social media outreach.
Interesting.
A cold email.
Yeah.
Just one by one.
Yeah.
You sacrifice time for money.
Yep.
Right. If you don't have time, you pay for it back. If you have money, you can buy time back.
That's right.
You know, that's how it works. So it depends on what your budget is. Depends on the industry you're going after and utilizing the tools that are out there. Yeah. It's never been easier to start a business than it is right now.
So true, man.
Yeah.
And a lot of things is like they got free trials for like 30, everything. 40, you know, like for everything to test out and build it and see if you like it and test it. If you don't like it, change it. You did mention something about buying lists and stuff too. So like I understand that lingo.
Right.
But for some people, like, what did he just say? He just
bought like a list. Yeah, it's like a list. So if you're working with chiropractors and you want to get a list of 1,000 chiropractors in Nashville, Tennessee, number one, you can go on Upwork, shout out Upwork or Fiverr, you know, one of these awesome sites, freelance sites. People will scrape you a list. It's not that much money. Yeah. Or you can just use something like Apollo.io and be able to go on there and just scrape that list and download. You know, you have to validate all the email addresses, make sure they're not going to get a bounce back. Yeah. That will hurt your email domain reputation. don't want to do that.
No,
that's a whole nother podcast.
I was about to
I could
say,
talk for an hour about
we gotta have Nick back on the show to talk specifically about how to warm up an email, right? And what's the proper way to set up emails.
Shoot me an email. I'll help you out.
We'll put his information below, and you could go reach out to him, and he'll walk you through it.
It's a whole process, but super valuable, especially using tools like Instantly.ai. I'd highly recommend that one.
Dude, that is awesome, man. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with the audience that we have here at Branding Beyond Business. Man, where can we find you online? How can we follow you and follow the journey and the exciting things that you're working on that is super secret until we release it?
Not super secret. So, I mean, we have some new app initiatives in the works right now for growth consulting, paid advertising, user acquisition, and just overall monetization strategies to be able to take an app from square one to a fully functioning cash flowing business, right? So we'll have more details on that coming up here soon. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Nick Grayson. Follow me on Instagram, Nick A. Grayson. And I'd say those are the two main platforms you can keep up with me on. So
that's so awesome, man. So glad to have my boy Nick on this show. And if you want more information about Branding Beyond Business, check out brandingbeyondbusiness.com. If you want to shoot us an email, it's yes@brandingbeyondbusiness. And if you want to follow me, it is @JohnMediana. Media is in my name everywhere on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X. Thanks, Elon. Everywhere, man. So if you really loved and enjoyed the show and you got value from the conversation, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone that needs to hear it. And we'll see you in the next episode. Alrighty, take care.